welcome to the Untitled Show by E-MN. So, Mark, I know who you are, but could you please tell people who you are?
Yeah, I'm Mark Denham. I'm a filmmaker, writer, director, producer, pretty much an all-rounder. Everything on set I can do. I'm an actor as well, and yeah.
So, can you tell me about your theater and film past? Where did you start and how did you start?
I started back in the early 90s. I was 13, and a neighbour of mine worked in a theatre as a sound and lighting tech at the local theatre, Chat's Palace, and he invited me to go along with him to learn the ropes. During this time, there wasn't any courses to learn any of the theatre arts. You had drama and that, but nothing technical. To do the technical side, you had to know someone to be taken under their wing, and I was fortunate enough to have that. But now, of course, you can do theatre studies at colleges and universities. But it's always better to be taken as an apprentice and have on-the-job experience, which I'm sure that's the same with anything.
Yeah.
And then after learning how to do the lighting, sound, and the lighting in theatre is called lanterns. I always remember that was the first lesson I was taught. When he picked it up, he said, "Do you know what this is?" And I said, "Yes, I light." And he said, "No, not in theatre. It's called a lantern." And then he went on to show me how to rig lighting and rig the sound, which was awesome. And then as time went on, I got into stage management, which is really awesome because you're the boss pretty much. You're running it. If it's not for you, it can fall apart because you're connecting the actors with the techs and bringing it all together. It's not easy, but it's fun. And then I moved into studying it. When it started in colleges, I thought, this is something I've grown up with. It's an easy pass for me. So I went and joined the local theatre, Hoxton Hall, and done their course. And that was awesome, being able to run shows. And I got highest marks in stage management. Then I got my first go in front of the camera when I was become a TV extra, and that was with things like Family Affairs, The Bill, and all that, which was really awesome. And I remember my first day on set, I watched the director, and I was like, "That's what I want to do. I want to direct." And it went on from there. And I've written scripts and produced, directed it, and created a few short films and some features.
Yeah. I mean, I worked with you, and I think, it's I think that I think the easiest is when you have a director who really starts as an actor, will actually understand the actor. I'm not I've worked with some directors who never started as actors, but they were good. But sometimes it's easier for a director who has been an actor to deal with actors. Do you agree on that, or
Yeah, definitely, because you can understand the point of view of an actor as well as the point of view from the crew side. Having both point of views means that you can pretty much work with everyone easier because you can understand what their needs are, which of course makes everything a lot easier. You do get some actors though are a pain in the backside.
I know. So you are a director and you're a writer. Which one is the favorite thing that you like to do the most of those two?
It's hard to choose really, because when I write, it's like a meditation. It's relaxing, and I become part of that story. You know, in my mind, I'm actually there, and I sometimes act it out while I'm writing it. So I really enjoy writing. But then on the other hand, being able to create that story from page to screen is just as exciting. So I really enjoy them both equally, but they both have slight differences. So yeah, so that's really a hard thing to choose which is the preferred thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, directing.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult, but you know, like it's loving both, so as equal as much. So do you have any advice for people who are starting out as writers and directors? Like,
really just to keep writing, keep making films, short films, build your contacts, your little circle of filmmakers, and just keep pushing and trying, and you expect to have a lot of knockbacks, a lot of disappointments, but don't let that make you give up, because I've had that a lot, and I've occasionally wanted to give up, but lucky enough I've got a good support group such as yourself that keeps me on track and keeps me pushing forward.
I do sometimes feel like I don't know, it's like sometimes I go very military on you because I'd be like, don't you give up, don't you, like it's like we're out there training and I'd be like, don't you dare give up, you know. So but I know myself how it is, you know, when you have like a lot of downs and you feel just like, oh, I'm just gonna give up, you know. But then you have these amazing ups, you know, where everything just goes. And like our industry is not easy, so you know it's pretty much you take everything, you know. So at this so in today's world there is a pandemic and many films and theaters and you know series have slowed down or shut down, but other films like they have slowed down but they do it very carefully, and you know, and they follow the rules. And some festivals haven't actually closed; they've just moved towards online. But what is your advice to filmmakers or writers or new filmmakers who feel maybe like they're a little bit like scared of having the festival online and sending in their projects to an online instead of actually being able to go to the festival?
I'd, I'd say go for it. Like what you always say to me, exposure is good. So as much exposure to your film, your filmmaking is what you really need to do.
Yeah. So you also act. How do you do it now? Like especially during the pandemic, is there any films that you've filmed now differently due to the world, and how was it to be filmed?
Mostly I do monologues at the moment to build my little toolbox of things to put out there and shows, etc. The only film that I've actually done during the pandemic is Lonely, which is your film that you cast me in. So that was quite enjoyable.
So how did you do film it now? Because I'm sitting in Sweden and you're in England, so it's like, can you explain how that process went? You know, like for anyone who's like feeling that, oh well, I have actors, you know, somewhere else during a pandemic.
Okay, well, I filmed my scenes, and after filming my scenes, well, I filmed several. I filmed in different accents, an American accent and an English accent, because I wasn't sure what the character would be best as. And then I sent it into you, and you went through it. You filmed your side. You edited it together, and boom, awesome film.
It's awesome. And you were really good. You know, it's like it's amazing how you can do it now when you sort of like that you can still film it. But I do miss going on sets, you know, be in front of actors, and I actually do miss like filming with you guys. So it's like it's but you know, this is how we have to do it, you know, to right now keep safe. Do you have any advice for actors now during the pandemic?
Yeah, keep practicing your craft. You should not stop doing it. If there's anyone in your bubble that you connect with, do it. If not, just get online, do monologues, turn them monologues into show reels. And even if you've got actor friends, maybe even get into Zoom with them and do little scenes with them and bounce off each other. And also there's a few Zoom classes, acting classes that are out there, which are great to do at the moment.
Okay. So if anyone doesn't know where to find them, how can they find them? And is there any classes that you really highly recommend?
Eventbrite. If you're going out, you can find a lot of classes, but the classes that I highly recommend are the ones from the Celebrity Centre. Tom and Ice are great tutors, and they do acting classes. They're based in LA. They're actually known film makers and directors over in LA. So it's pretty late if you're in the UK. It's like 2-3 in the morning, the classes. And also, once you get involved in that, you'll be invited to a class with Denise, and she's great. She just pretty much helps you build your confidence, talks to you, and just has a little chill out thing and bigs you up, makes you feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah, she's great, actually. I really like her. So you started young in this industry, but you've also had the opportunity to like, you know, try other work and also school. So do you feel that because you've had that opportunities to do other things, have that helped you keep like you level-headed or like your feet on the ground? You know, because like our industry is so, it pretty much eats, they take the young and, you know, they place you somewhere and then suddenly they eat you up pretty much.
But it's always provided safety nets for me, so that I knew I had things to fall back on. But no matter what I do, I always find myself back at filmmaking because that's my passion. But the good thing about other careers such as security and the fact I'm going to be training as a bodyguard soon, it gives me insight for when making films. So if I make a film that's got something to do with a bodyguarding, I'm going to know how to realistically play that part. And also I get firearms training, so I'll be able to realistically play that as well, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
So it is a good thing to have different career things, because it gives you a wider knowledge of life, pretty much.
So you're also a writer, and you write not just scripts for films, but you also write a book. Can you tell us about the book, how it started, and what is it about?
Well, one day I was kind of bored, so I started a course in psychology, advanced psychology, abnormal psychology, counselling, forensic psychology, and a couple of others, but all in the mental health thing. And I found that I was drawn to serial killers, not because I'm into that, but more of I couldn't understand how they do that and enjoy it. I mean, we're all capable of murder if you press the right buttons, but these just actually, it's like a sport to them. You know, it's like something that they crave, an addiction. So I wanted to understand how they think, what's different about them to us. And I began to write a book about the psychology of serial killers, to be able to figure out what's different from them to us. So, for example, their frontal lobe cortex could be damaged. If that's damaged, then it's likely they won't feel empathy and have a lack of understanding of harming people, which wouldn't register people's feelings. But it's not just things like it's a bigger load of information that I've put in this book of all kinds of things of how a serial killer's mind works. And then after explaining all the psychological and scientific information about how their mind works, I've then compiled profiles of their particular well-known serial killers, their crimes, and their psychology. It's still in a process of writing it. I'm just at the profiling part.
So when the book is finished, do you have any more ideas for other books that you want to write? I mean, I know that you're just like me, like very much into ghosts and the paranormal. Is there anything that you see as interesting to write about, or do you want to continue with the serial killers?
Well, I'm actually writing. I'm actually writing two other books. One, well, I've not always been a good boy. I followed the naughty path. So I'm actually writing a book on my naughty days before I become a family man and left all that behind. So, and that's called The Unnamed Gangster. So it's about reality of what happened, but when the name's changed, location changed, and all that. I'm halfway through that, and then also I am in the process of writing about paranormal as well, and I've just joined a paranormal team. I'm like the lead investigator, so that's going to be awesome, and we'll be filming our adventures with the hauntings and putting them up on a YouTube page.
That's awesome. I mean, there is a lot of haunted places, around, and especially, do you remember that forest we went to when we were filming Toy Box Killers, and that was haunted. So
yeah.
yeah. When it comes to ghosts and hauntings, have you ever experienced any hauntings, seen any ghosts?
Well, there's been a couple on set when we're filming. I can't pronounce it.
What was it? El Kukui. El Kukui.
El Kukio?
El Kukui?
El Kukui, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some there. Yeah, that's it. We had a few things there. When I was doing sound, I heard like a weird voice and that, and I showed you and the rest of the crew, and then we had things moving when they shouldn't be moving. And it was pretty freaky, some of the things that went on. Also, when I was doing stage management at Hoxton Hall, this particular night, I was the only stage manager on a live show. The rest had called in sick. And I remember I had to get from the stage downstairs to send one actor out, and then within 5 seconds, I had to get upstairs to cue the next actor to go out on a balcony. And as I'm running up the stairs, it felt like someone grabbed me and lifted me and helped me get up quicker. And when I told the stage manager that was the tutor, he said, yeah, Hoxton Hall is haunted. And that normally happens with stage managers. There's a spirit of a stage manager that's from back in the 1800s. And when he sees other stage managers needing help, he gives a hand. So that they said that he was helping me get to cue the others quick. And also, he occupied the basement. And if you wasn't a stage manager, you'd have things thrown at you. So I would always be sent down there by myself to fix props, etc., because I was welcome there because I was a stage manager.
It's a very helpful ghost. Do you want to go back to that theater and still become like a stage manager, or do you feel that you want to move to another theater?
Well, Oxon Hall's a great theatre. It's been there for many, many years. But I've joined a theatre group called Hackney Players. My main job is their tech guy, so I deal with lighting, the sound, the stage management, etc. But I'm also going to be acting, directing, and that with them. I'm even able to write a play as well, which will be awesome. At the moment, they're doing a show via Zoom, but it seems that soon they'll be heading back to the theatre. But they also travel. So they would be going to other theatres to put on shows, which would be really awesome. And I found him thanks to you.
Yeah, I was just like Googling and just doing stuff and start writing, and then I had no idea that it even still existed. So it's I just send everything to you. You know, I have a habit when you say something, like you don't even ask me to do something, and I just like, here you go, and then I just send you everything, you know. It's like, so it's, I'm happy that like you're part of it. I'm so happy that you become part of that theater and is doing all of this. And you know, it's, for me who has worked with you, I can guarantee that they will know, well, I know for a fact that you are really someone who's will do everything and be so professional, and you really are that talented. So they will, you know, they'll be happy to have you. So.
Well, I proved my usefulness the other day to them. They asked me to, they said, as you're our tech guy, look into how we can record these Zoom play and then put it out for an audience. Within an hour that day, I had the whole plan of what to do, and I emailed it to the director. And he was like, wow, I didn't expect you to have the answer so soon.
Is there, would you like to start your own theater in the future?
Yeah, I'd love to start my own theatre company. I've got several actors, as you know. A lot of them would be willing to participate, and it's just either finding a location to put on shows or being able to build a company where I can sell us to theatres to perform it there, even if it means that we only get a small amount of ticket sales and the theatre gets the maximum amount, and we only take a small percentage, and that would be quite cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question here. Is there, well, it's actually two questions in one. So is there any specific ghosts that you would like to meet? And is there any unsolved cases you would like to solve?
Ghosts, not really too bothered what ghosts I meet. I'm just interested in them all. I do study the 9 demonic kings and follow rituals with them, and cases solved. That's a hard one. I mean, I'd definitely love to know who Jack the Ripper really was, but considering it's been over 100 years and there's so many possibilities, that might not be solved. But H.H. Holmes is quite a contender.
Yeah.
Because he was here during the times of the Ripper.
Yeah. Well, one suspect, or that or one or two suspects that we can like cut out is the royal family.
Yeah, mind you, that is an awesome conspiracy story, but it's unlikely. Like from the film From Hell with Johnny Depp. Now, that conspiracy is awesome, but in reality, it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, but because the doctor that they claimed went there, first of all, he had, if I remember it correctly, he had like a stroke before everything happened, and he was very old according to that that area and that generations and times standards. And the women that were murdered, these were women who could like literally kick your ass. Like, so someone who was had a stroke, was a bit big, and then like pretty like, yeah, I don't see it. And also like they also proven that the prince wasn't even there, and he didn't have a secret mistress, who was a prostitute. I mean, you probably had a secret mistress, but like it wasn't where Johnny Depp will end up becoming. I do love the film and I love Johnny Depp, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's an awesome actor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah. So what are you doing now? Is there any films, scripts, series that you're doing coming out or in that you're working on? Are you doing anything at the moment that you can tell us about?
Doing quite a few things. Yeah, well, there's quite a few things. One thing you already know is the book, which is called A Killer's Vocation. The reason I called it A Killer's Vocation is because Ed, I forgot his second name, it's gone out of my mind. The co-ed killer. He told investigators that killing was a vocation, and that stuck in mind. And I thought that would be an interesting title. So I'm writing that because I'm also directing a comedy series called Pearl of India. We've got a series there, but we're doing a feature film. I've also been cast as to play as one of the gangsters in it, and also working on a gangster series. I've just finished writing episode 10 of series 1. I'm also in the process of creating a gangster movie that's going to have some well-known people in, such as Dave Courtney. Also, I'll be performing in it as well. I've just finished working on a documentary, and I'm currently writing a screenplay about it's pretty much a serial killer. He goes on a killing spree. So it's just an all-out slasher, pretty much an old-fashioned slasher. And I'm sure there's other things I'm doing, but I'm doing so much. I sometimes have to sit every so often and write a list. What am I doing? Right. And then I write the list and I'm like, I tick what I've got to do that particular day. So without a list in front of me, I might be leaving things out.
That's okay. I mean, there is a lot that you're doing. So, and it's okay to sometimes like forget something and then be like, you know what, it's probably something I'm missing out right now, but there is a lot I'm doing. So that's okay.
I should have really wrote the list out.
It's fine. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. It's that happens. I've forgotten so many times, like stuff that I'm doing, I'd be like, what was I doing? And did I do that? Did I say that? You know, so it's okay.
Mhm.
Um, because like you're really proving a point where it is, despite the pandemic, you are really showing that um not to slow down, but to find other ways, to film, other ways to communicate, and other ways to be really um, productive and not to give up. Um, and that's pretty much like whatever, everybody is saying. And that's what you've also been saying when I've asked you, like, do you have any advice? And you say, yeah, don't give up. Um, do you, what is so this will be the last question, but is there any actually I have another question, but is there any specific director, it can be dead or alive, that you would like to work with?
There's a few. Um, Basically, one of them I see as the father of horror as we know it and thriller is Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, great. He brought a whole new thing to film. And it's Steven Spielberg. What a master! He's a legend. But in saying he's a legend, he actually said himself. He said, "I'm hearing I'm a legend," and he said, "But when you've got fast food restaurants calling their burgers the legend, it kind of loses all meaning."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and then there's Tarantino. He's awesome. He's
Yeah.
awesome. And then there's Scorsese and Lynch. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah, David Lynch.
Yeah. And also, yeah, and then there's also, I can't believe I forgot his name.
What did he do?
He's a rock star as well. And he does 1,000 Corpse
Rob
and
Zombie.
um, uh,
Rob
Rob
Zombie.
Zombie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. He's got a great imagination to create some really psychotic stuff, and his films are awesome.
Yeah. And he works with his wife. And that I really like, that they have this sort of like a good working relationship with each other. So it seems like they're very good of shutting off husband and wife and then going in as like just professionals. That I really like. So they're doing a good job,
Yeah.
So okay, so this will be the last question before I will end the interview. But where do you see yourself in about a year or two? Do you see yourself in Hollywood, or do you see yourself that you're staying in London, or where do you see yourself in about a year or two?
Um, not too sure. Not too sure really where I'd be. I'd love to go to Hollywood, uh, but I'm just hoping to get my movies out there and be one of the next big names up there with Tarantino, Scorsese, Spielberg, yeah, Denham. I want to hear people saying, "Oh, did you see that movie done by Denham? Oh, that's an awesome movie." Yeah, in cinemas near you, filmed by Mark Denham.
well, well, you already proven it, because like Toy Box Killers has won an award, and has been really praised. So like you are really showing yourself, you know, going that route. So
Yeah. but he was a star in it, so
of course I was the star.
even though you lost your voice.
I wish that I wasn't so stupid on that set. Like when I came in sick, and you were the one who really, like, were really worried. And but I was like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And then you're like, okay. I am so happy that you let me
I was just worried you damaged your voice.
Yeah, but I'm really happy that you let me reshoot several of those scenes. It's like, because the way I sounded, like, I remember hearing my voice and the pain, like, just the pain was like awful. And it's like, I wish I had listened to you to go home and rest. Like, no, of course not.
But some of the scenes that actually worked.
Yeah. It did, actually. It did. It was a really good job, But
especially when he was looking for when the characters escaped and you're like, where is she? We've got to find her.
Yeah. Oh, that was so painful. That was so painful. Oh, I still remember it. That was every time I hear me screaming and doing that, I was just like, oh, that is so painful. I could still remember the pain I went through. I should have listened to you during that. But no, of course not. I'm not listening. I'm never, like, I'm so annoying. So okay, so I just want to say thank you so much for letting me interview you, and for answering all these questions. You're the first one that I'm interviewing for my podcast on the Untitled Show by E-MN. And this is also the first one that will come up now on YouTube also. So, yay! So that's really great. I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I am going to let you do your thing, carry on writing, being awesome. So, and I hope that you have more movies for me like out there. I'm not like saying anything else.
Well, we're going to be doing a Toy Box Killers 2 at some point.
Yes. Oh, and the short film for Samantha. We have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to get ready for that. So it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right.